there's so much here, so much wisdom. Like if we just took the book of Proverbs, for example, and said, hey, we as Americans, if we live by the wisdom in Proverbs that Solomon left us, dude, we'd be like the wisest nation on the planet.
for sure.
Yeah, everyone would be so much.
I
much
love
better off.
700 concubines.
He had 700 wives.
Oh yeah,
300 concubines. I looked at it that once.
Based.
All a concubine was it was like a second class wife, pretty much. It was like he still provided and took care of you, but you of the social status was beneath a wife.
Right.
So it's like
they would still bear children though.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I always wondered how many kids you think Solomon had.
Oh man, so many.
Because he was basically cranking them out his whole life. Like he never stopped sleeping with women.
Yeah,
so.
It's not like they had like birth control. Or
No, they didn't
like
have birth
that.
control.
Like,
So
was...
I mean, you have literally you could sleep with 3 women a day, almost 3 women every single day for a whole year, and not and to go through every single woman you had.
And there was probably.
I'm sure there were servant girls he slept with too.
Oh, yeah. Without a doubt.
Yeah, he like you ever hearing how Epstein had to sleep with like have sex 3 times a day in order to basically be satisfied. I kind of wonder if Solomon was like that. It's like he had to do it 3 or 4 times a day. And, bless you.
Thank you. You just compare Solomon to Jeffrey Epstein?
No, I said, but in terms of their sex drives,
in
terms of their sex drives, I'm like, well, maybe. I mean, I like to think Solomon wasn't as bad of a person.
Kind of brings into question the whole sexual promiscuity moral standards.
Of what?
Well, I mean, they're obviously different back then, but
no,
Solomon can have like.
Oh, he wasn't supposed to. Like, actually, that was against the.
You're like, oh, that was.
No, and it's in Deuteronomy somewhere where God says a king shall not multiply wives for himself. And Solomon's like, yeah, looking right over that passage.
Actually, I'm gonna ignore that one.
Yeah, Solomon's like, I believe in all of it except this little verse right here. We're going like, oh, I didn't see that one, Lord. I'm so sorry. Like,
wasn't that kind of his downfall too, though?
Oh, it
was.
The
gods of his wives that he began.
He started marrying foreign women. Like he married like the daughters of Pharaoh.
For example. What?
It is. The women ruined him, man.
Me too, man.
They got rid of it. Yeah,
Eve version 2.
Then he started going to worshiping other gods and brought the anger. And he's like, because you didn't follow me wholeheartedly like your father David did, like I'm going to take the kingdom from you in like 4 generations or something like that. And
David had a problem with the women too. Bathsheba.
I read something. I read something.
Sorry, guys, I had to wipe my nose.
No, it's I read this book. It's called like. Reading scriptures through like Western eyes. It's basically taking Western bias and applying it to scriptures. And this guy brought up a really interesting point, from like a more Middle Eastern view with Bathsheba. Because you notice how she was bathing at night on a rooftop. And they said, you know how today people still like bathe in privacy in a room, like they don't like bathe on a rooftop for everyone to see.
Sure.
He's like, well, guess what? They did the same thing back then. They bathed in private. So he's like, the fact that this woman, who from her balcony or from her rooftop could see the king's balcony, so he knew she knew he could see her.
Had to have.
Basically she almost had a light out because David saw her and saw she was very beautiful. She was clearly naked, obviously, bathing. So David didn't want to see her. This is Uriah's wife. He found out, blah, blah, blah. She goes in and basically.
He was the captain of his guard, right?
One of the 30. He's one of he was Uriah the Hittite, so he wasn't even a native.
Yeah, which means that it's not like this wasn't like a commoner. This wasn't some peasant girl.
No. This was a noble woman. She was a noble woman. It gets so much worse than this, actually. So obviously he goes to sleep with her because again they're all out of war where David's supposed to be.
Yeah,
and David's not doing what he's supposed to do.
Yeah,
he's hanging out back. Uriah's on the front line.
In fact, he sends Uriah to the front line.
No. Hold on. Hear me out. This gets so much worse. So basically, then David knocks her up. She gets pregnant. So then. David's like, I guess I'm trying to remember this right. David sends her, he comes back, and they say, I guess in their culture, if Uriah would have went and slept with his wife, basically it was a way of like saying, I will take the child, and I'll let you off scot-free. Uriah, first off, doesn't do that, but actually insults David. David is like, who am I to go sleep with my wife while all the other men are on the front lines? Basically, which is basically in a nutshell is like a slap to the face of David saying, you're not doing what you're supposed to be. Not only did
you sleep with my wife, but
you're not where you're supposed to be.
Right.
So I'm not going to do this. So David basically tries to get him drunk and says again, A third time he won't do, or second time, whatever, he won't do it. So basically saying because of I guess the issue would have been, I guess in their culture, the king like sleeping with someone else's wife wouldn't have been a big deal because they're like, you're the king, you can do what you want. The bigger issue is he's not letting David off. Mm-hmm. So in order for David to regain his honor, he has to basically kill him. Because once he kills him, then he regains his honor. I guess it's like they think honor is like, I think if you only have 100 points, if I take some honor from you, you lose honor. So the only way you get it back is I have to kill you so I can get it back, kind of thing.
Or you relinquish it yourself by sleeping.
Or he sleeps, and that's basically saying, I won't take your honor from you. Well, basically, then he goes and he kills him, and then that's when the prophet Nathaniel comes and rebukes David.
And he's like, "How dare you?"
Well, and
boy,
what I found really interesting too was what God said to David afterwards. He's like, basically, I gave you all the stuff. I gave you all this stuff, all this count as well. He's like, and had that not been enough for you, I would have given you even more than that. He's like, but because you went and did this wickedness, I'm going to like cause division in your family. And later on, his son rebels against him, which ends in him dying.
Which again, kind of put the spotlight on like the corruptness of humans. Like, doesn't matter how much we're given.
Yeah,
doesn't matter how much access you have to things. That it's almost like that temptation, that forbidden fruit that you want, man. Simply because you're not supposed to have it. That ingrained narcissism of like.
Yeah, I find that so fascinating because it's like just that one line God's saying there. I would have given you even more,
which He did to Solomon.
Yeah, like, and eventually, but that was something different. But the point, I just thought that was so interesting, and then so it's like it makes you sometimes sit there and wonder like how we view God. Like I'm not saying it's like not a prosperity thing, but how God will give far and beyond what we ever wanted. Or even if we say that that's not enough, God's like, well, I will give you more because he's just such a loving father. He wants to bless his children. However, I do think his grace is I'm not going to give you something that's going to destroy you. Like if I ask God, I want $10 billion, and God knows if I give that to him and he doesn't earn it and he doesn't understand what this is for, or his heart's too wicked to handle it, he's like, if I give him this, it's going to destroy him and you're going to end up in hell. And I'm not going to. I love you too much to give that to you. It's like. You're not going to give you like if your son's like, oh, I want a flamethrower, Dad.
Right.
You're gonna be like, look, I love you, and if you could handle it, I'd probably give it to you. But I know what's going to happen if I give that to you, and I ain't about to do that.
Right.
Right. So I think it's